What's up, everybody? Xavrun here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game called Gods of Savvarah. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's published and developed by I believe it's a single individual, S.T. Cinnabar. It's based off of a webcomic that he created. Give him a follow on Twitter. I'll go ahead and read you the description from the Steam page. It says here, Gods of Savvarah is a visual novel with the philosophy of a classic fantasy RPG. Defeat enemies, explore countries, make friends, and find your place in Savvarah. Now, I did give it a little run through, and then I don't know what happened to the video file, but something happened to it. It's just not working properly, so I'm going to go ahead and re-record, and I'll go through the same steps I went through last time. Yeah, so its initial release date was supposed to be October 3rd of 2023, but you can go ahead and download the demo now. It does give you a heads up at the beginning that it's just a demo, so if anything's wrong with it or anything, just take that as what it is. It's a demo. It's, been released a year before its initial release date, or its predicted anticipated release date, I should say. It is an RPG, choose your own adventure style game. You play a lizard race, and it's based off of a webcomic by S.T. Cinnabar. Like I said, you can go check out his stuff on Twitter. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Does he have a? Yes, he's got a Discord, YouTube, and Twitter. I'll link all three of those in the description below, as well as the Steam page where you can go download this from. I'm going to go ahead and start a brand new game. Like I said, I'm going to go through the same options I went through last time because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I'm not sure because it's a choose your own adventure. If you have different outcomes, if you choose different things, I don't know if that's implemented yet, and I don't even know how far we can get into this as well. But it's very nice. The artwork is gorgeous. It's absolutely a beautiful game. It's very fun. A lot of reading, but for the most part, it is what it is. It's a very fun game. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Many sentient creatures contemplate their creation. Who are we? Who brought us into existence? What for? For us, the Savvarians, these questions were never of a philosophical nature. We know who created us, we know how, and we used to know for what purpose. See, this is just, isn't it beautiful? It just looks so good. Clouds have always bypassed Savvarah. They crowded around, but never dared cross some kind of invisible border. There, amidst evergreen forest, basking in the eternal light of the sun, sat in Kotal, the city hidden from the eyes of a stranger. The city was our prison. The city of the sun. So when you're going through the reading here, you could always come right down here. It looks like you can go back if you want to choose different options. If you want to skip. I'm not sure what auto is. I haven't clicked it yet. It's probably auto scroll or auto read. History, I think, might bring up what you've already read in the past. And then you got quick save, which is nice, and then quick load. So if you mess up, you can quick save before you make an option, quick load back to that option, and then change your options. It's always better to move on 4 paws. Hosfa did not mind crawling. At least he kept his head, which was of use after all. With his heart beating soundly, Hosfa was making his way through the sleeping brothers. Heavy silence, interrupted only by snoring and puffing, strengthened every little rustle. He restrained himself from rushing forward. Freedom was so close. She was so close. Something touched his ankle. Hosfa halted. He almost fell to the ground, but didn't want to make a noise. All's fine. Just one of his brothers tosses and turns. He gathered his strength and continued moving. How many times has he sneaked out of here? And every time he thought over his plan in case he got caught. Finally, fresh air. Hosfa crawled into the dark, still too soon to relax. Who knows what can happen if he gets caught? Though, he could always talk his way out of referring to one of the master's errands. Nobody dares go against Lyoka's will. Sorry about that. No matter how absurd it might be. Blood rushed to his head. Yet it was not fear. Excitement. Once again, he wants to prove to himself that he can wander around in Kotal in his own whim, or at his own whim. Is there any other Savvarians who could do this? The Kataka, or the Katak domain was enclosed by the wall of thickets. What useless beauty. Hosfa navigated this motley maze better than Katak servants themselves. He knew every flower here and would notice any change in their order. What were they called? Whatever? Oh, these bushes of all shapes and sizes have saved his life more than once. Even now, the lizard was watching the estate, sitting at the shade of the spreading tree. A familiar silhouette, gait, profile. A shiver ran down his back. It was her, Kahira. Though apparently he arrived too late. Following the other servants, the girl was returning to her modest home. I snapped a twig last time. Kahira jerked as if she'd seen a ghost. Her face changed abruptly, and she gestured to Hosfa to go away. Kahira, are you coming? Says Crocus. I remember there used to be a metal band called Crocus. They weren't that bad. Yes. I think I left some tools. I'll catch up with you soon. Hosfa came even closer. She shushed him. What are you doing here? I told you not to come. Aren't you happy to see me? We've already agreed that this can't go on. I don't remember agreeing to anything. I just wanted to see you. Oh, please, don't make such a face. It is dangerous. They might see us. Are you afraid they'll be jealous? Of course I am. And you should be too. It's all your fault. One look at you, and it's kind of hard to be afraid, you know? You could always win me over. But it's serious now. So are my intentions. Look what I've got here. He handed her a stone. It looked quite ordinary. A circle with spikes were scratched on it. The sun. What is it? I once saw the masters give each other, well, different things. That's what I made for you, as a keepsake. She stared at it clumsily drawn sun for some time. This is the only kind of sun that can shine for us, and yet we must stop. Should we get caught? We won't. There is no future for us, unless our saint masters would decide to arrange a marriage between two loving souls. Let me ask them. Enough, that's a bad joke. Hosfa, you know what? Or you know that. You know, I've always anticipated our meetings, but this is going to be our death. Excuse me. Yeah, this is it's such a good story. The artwork is so fantastic. I really am enjoying this. See, I promised to return last time. I won't come back tomorrow, but the day after. Stop it. She was almost growling now. Is this very funny? Or are my words mean nothing to you? Or do my words mean nothing to you? If you come again, I'll call the others. She disappeared into the thickets. Hosfa was sneaking back, following the same path. He grinned. He will come back in a couple of days. Her threat didn't sound all that serious. The next night, Hosfa escaped from the hut again. She wasn't there. He waited longer than usual and almost let his guard down. Hosfa couldn't sleep. He fell asleep with bad thoughts. Now it was making sense. Her harsh tone, sudden request to part. She must have found another male among her own people. That would be much easier. Hosfa dropped into a vicious, heavy sleep. And it looks like at the end of each chapter, it comes to this here. Click to continue. We'll go on for a little bit longer here. We'll wait to the next continue screen. But again, if you come down here to the bottom, it does all this. I'm going to quick save it real quick because I want to make sure. I want to see what the history does. Okay. History. Okay, yeah. So the history just goes right back through the entire story. So you can go back and just read it as you want. And if I click back here, okay, cool. It takes me right back to the click to continue page. So let's go ahead and move forward. It was dark and damp. The vicious chill always seemed especially pleasant after the brutal sunlight. Hosfa woke up in the dugout that he and his sworn brothers called home. He woke up by himself. Like most of the others, they were trained to get up early. He didn't get up. He buried his face in the wet wall when something poked him in the thigh. He turned around. Above him stood the eldest, Ushad. He was an old lizard of the Ahara tribe. He lived here long before Hosfa was born and was sworn father and tutor for most of the Nair house servants. Sleeping well, darling? Should I tuck you in? Hosfa jumped up briskly, hiding his surprise. He could not remember any morning errands. What's up? I accidentally hit right click, I think. What's up? You dare ask me what's up? You should be out working already. Look at yourself. All brawn and still no brain. But what are you mumbling about? The sun is up, and so you must be up as well. Remember, do I have to teach you a lesson once more, or do you want to go straight to the pit? Hosfa was looking down at the floor, listening to Ushad. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Ushad grumbled often, and it seemed to be a matter of habit. But then Hosfa remembered Ushad when he was younger. The red-haired lizard once bit off a piece of the guilty one. He is from the Ahara tribe, after all, and they are not to be trifled with. Even robust young men like Hosfa don't scare them. What's taking so long? Get out! To disobey Ushad is to disobey the master, a deadly sin. They came out to the surface. Hosfa winced at the bright sun. Gahan, Kuar, and Shashkin were already standing outside. They were lizards from the tribe. And why are you standing there? Go fetch the palanquin. What's with staring at Haz or Haas? Maybe, I'm not sure if that, I'm assuming that's a name. It's capital H, so Haz might be the name. Hace, we'll call it Hace. Well, we'll manage without him. The palanquin at this hour. The master must be going somewhere. I read that totally wrong. I didn't even think of the question marks. Let's see, if I go back, the palanquin at this hour? The master must be going somewhere. That doesn't often happen so early in the morning. And you will be watching the babies until we get back. Me? I'm no female. Yeah, but you got stuck with babysitter duty, buddy. Shouldn't have slept in. You'll be whatever I tell you to be. Why so grumpy? Didn't you enjoy your rest? Well then, shut up and get to work. Children mean problems. Should one wake the master, everyone will have problems, and especially Hosfa himself. The children too. They can be easily tossed into the pit just as well. The garden was bustling with the running children. Hosva clapped his hands. Krok, tribe child. Hosva, what are you doing here? You are too wet behind the ears to ask questions. We thought that Ushad was coming. Ushad? What's he supposed to do here? He said he would tell a story, says Kaka, the tribe child. Ah, yes, a story. Hosva chuckled. Nothing changes here. He even remembered sitting here and listening to Ushad's story, the one he always told to the little ones. I know this story too. Saka, tribe child. What's it about? And I do like they color coded it, right? So this introductory page is done very well. They're introducing the children with their names the same color as their flesh. So later on in the story, if you're not seeing the gray, you can kind of tell which one's talking with the color coding. That's kind of genius, honestly. What's it about? Oh, it's essential. This is the story of our people. Everyone must know it. Hosva closed his eyes, thinking where he should begin. The lizards of the Ahara tribe were considered bloodthirsty and narrow-minded, but Ushad was a great storyteller. Good storyteller, sorry. Have you seen the sun? The sun always shone over Savvarah. But there were times when the rays could not reach the earth. The whole land was in a grip of impenetrable darkness. There was nothing but blackness through which the sun rays could not break through. Then the sun set his son, Akatal, here. Akatal came down to our land and dispersed the darkness. Savvarah has become the only haven of life on earth. Is there still darkness outside Savvarah? No, only fragments of darkness remain. The clouds that surrounded Savvarah will strive to absorb the sun. After Akatal, Lyoka came to this land, his younger brothers. You promised to tell the story of our people. Ouch. Why? You must have bonked him on the head, I'm assuming. Don't interrupt the elders. But as the smell of blood attracted a predator, so does the triumph of what's that been? Flesh? Flesh. What are you talking about? The triumph of flesh. Predators are attracted by blood and flesh. No, nothing like that. Now shut up. Now I remember. Just as the smell of blood attracts a predator, so does the triumph of life. So the triumph of life attracts death and destruction. My line was better. Hordes of heralds of destruction appeared at the borders of our native Savvarah. They were called the Dominion of the Horned Ones. The Dominion strove to invade Savvarah and raze everything here to the ground. They threw stones and fire at the forest when the earth itself rebelled against the Horned Ones at the command of Akatal. But why would the Horned Ones do all of this? The same reason the sun warms the trees and the trees cast a shadow. Such is their essence. And will there be any talk of the Savarians at all? Of course. Then Akatal created us, the 7 Savarian tribes. We became the army of the sun, fighters that stood up to protect not just Savvarah, but life itself. Which tribe is the strongest? Everyone knows it's but only we can do magic. You're lying, you've never done any magic yet. Every tribe has its own strengths and weaknesses. But it was the tribe that led the Savarian, I think it's supposed to say that led the Savarians into battle. We fought the Horned Ones outside. Savvarah We fought the Horned Ones outside Savvarah in a barren wasteland. We saved Savvarah, and only then we returned home, but it wasn't the end of our path. After Savvarah's rescue, we were awarded with highest honor to serve the Laoka and Akatal. Hosfa! Hosfa nearly jumped to his feet. The old lizard of Ahara tribe was heading towards them. Ushad looked displeased, as if Hosfa did something wrong. Off to your brothers. The Nair house itself, bathing in the bright rays, seemed to shine against the background of the clear sky and lush gardens. A huge snow-white building, the Nair estate, was a miracle architecture compared with the miserable dugouts of the Savvarians. I think I read that wrong. A huge snow-white building of the Nair estate was the miracle of the architecture compared to the miserable dugouts of the Savvarians. But such were all the houses of the masters. They were not built by slaves, and, of course, not by the Laoka themselves. They were created by magic. Hosfa and his brothers carried the palanquin to the steps. It looked like another butchery. Oh, this early? The butchery was both entertainment for the masters and punishment for the slaves. It was held in a place called the Arena, but the Savvarians named it the Pit. The servants were released into the arena. Sometimes they fought with monsters, sometimes they fought with other servants. Sometimes, if a servant did something very, very wrong, the arena became a place for an elaborate execution. So kind of like the Romans. Quiet, here he comes. Or he's coming. The snow-white robe of the master was blending with the palace in the background. Seer was one of the elders in the house Nair. Although he looked young, the Laoka were not immortal, but they aged very slowly. Many generations of Savvarians can change before the master's curls turn gray. Oh, okay. They all lifted the bulky palanquin at the same time, at Ushad's command. Together they moved in sync, smoothly and confidently. Ushad trained them for a long time. The master's comfort is priority. The masters could walk in the air, but for some reason, they did not give up such primitive means of movement. Now, it might be because, I've never been, in that position. I never understood the hierarchy. Maybe it's just the type of person I am, but the creature comforts of, the hierarchy, you know what I mean? I could never see myself taking advantage of financially lower class people just for my own personal gain or creature comforts. It just doesn't make sense, I just never understood it. But again, I wasn't raised in that type of position, so I don't know. I can't really judge people based on that. It doesn't seem fair, but I can't see the world from that mindset. Hosfa could only guess what the green-skinned creatures were thinking. I'm going to go ahead and quick save here. This is where we're going to go ahead and end it. I'm very interested in continuing the story. It looks really good. I do like the choose your own adventure path. It does seem like there might be multiple different types of endings and what have you. I'm not sure what's going on. It does say at the very beginning when you first load up the game, it gives you the option for Russian or English. And then it lets you know that more stuff's constantly being added to the game. So like I said, check out st_Cinnavar on Twitter. Like I said, I'll add the Discord, the YouTube, the Twitter links in the description below. And as always, thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for clicking on the notification bell. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day.